guys, welcome back to the channel. I haven't been up to the workshop for a good 2 or 3 weeks actually. Travelled to England, as you know, and then I was actually ill for the first time in God knows how long, like 10 years. I'm never usually ill. But luckily it was just the flu, nothing else. And now I'm back up at the workshop on a very, very windy Saturday morning. But I picked up some parts for the Porsche from OPC in Dresden this week, and I just wanted to go through those with you. The most important thing really is this rear brake line. So they sent me the wrong one previously, which I showed on the previous video trying to fit it. It did sort of fit, but a couple of the bends were wrong. Maybe it was for a C4 or a C4S, I don't know. But then I went to the great lengths of making my own line, which took a long time. It was a bit of a headache, and I didn't quite finish it. So I've got the tools there to finish it. It took a while to get those. But then lo and behold, when I went and picked up these parts, this massive box came out, and I thought that could only be one thing. That's the brake line. So after them telling me that they couldn't source one, and that the delivery date was February 2024, they found one for me, but they didn't actually tell me. So I went and picked up the parts, and there it was. So it was a pleasant surprise. So I feel a little bit cheated that I haven't finished that brake line on the car, but purely because of time, I'm sort of happy that I don't have to, because I'll just clip this one in and then the job's done. So that's that. I've got a few parts here. I've got the breather pipe for the CCV valve, which is a massive thing, which I realised when I smoke tested it at the end of last year, that there was a crack in it, and that was the only thing. The crack in that CCV pipe was the only reason why that one side of the engine was covered in oil vapor, or oil. It was just because of the break in that. So I was quite happy to find that with my homemade smoke machine. But oh, things falling out here. And I'll go through these in more detail when I'm doing the work. But I've got a whole bunch of stuff to finish the engine. Things like the broken support on the right hand side for the front valance or the front bumper. I've got I can't remember what they're called, like a sleeve, a rubber sleeve for the air intake manifold, because one of the connections on there was split, I saw. I've got a whole bunch of those like gaskets and stuff, those small caps which go on the end of the camshafts. I've got something in a box here, I don't know what that is. Let me have a look. Oh yeah, so that's the sealant, the S1 or SI 5900 sealant for the rocker covers. I've got, what else have I got in here? Various clips for the water cooler brackets, which are off getting powder coated at the moment. So hopefully next week I'm going to get a whole box back of the 20 parts that I sent away to have powder coated. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be quite exciting. And then I've got, oh yeah, so that's a chain guide for the engine, which I noticed was quite worn on mine. And God knows what that is, oh yeah, some brackets and clips for the water coolers again. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to get the car in the air, and I'm going to fit this brake line. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to get the brake line out of the box, and I'm going to offer it up here and just make sure that it is the right brake line, because I've been told before that I've got the right brake line and it's been the wrong one. So this number is 997-355-19013. So, don't know if you can see that. Oh, don't scratch it. There it is. And I'm just gonna put it up here, just to make sure, or just to see that it's the right one. That's right, that's right. Yeah. Oh, it's looking good, yeah, because before, you probably can't see there, but before, this was incorrect. And also, yeah, this one here. So actually the one that I've made, I mean, in reality, I could just finish that off and leave it there because it's actually turned out quite well. When I was making it, I thought this is never going to work and I almost gave up on it, but then just sort of finished it off and it's actually turned out quite well. So if I did finish this, then yeah, there's basically a brake line here which somebody could have essentially because it's fine. But let's see if I actually finish it. Anyway, I'm going to take this one off and then put the new one on. Going to put some grease in the fittings because actually when I took the old one off, the place where it had corroded was literally where the brake line passes through the little plastic bracket. So best to put something on there. What I'm going to do after, when I finish with all of this, is I'm going to spray them all with a wax spray, which is, yeah, this stuff I showed you before. So that's what I'm going to spray it all down with. Okay, so that is that main brake line in place. Had to do a bit of adjustments here because that was one of the studs which I hadn't replaced, and it didn't fit very well with this little clip here, but I sorted that out, and now plugged it into that junction box, comes along here, under here. I've got to get rid of the remnants of that sticker, tight under here, up through here, and this is where it was a problem with the last one that I had. It didn't have this kink in it here. Into that one, across there to that one, in there, really quite tight over that lip there. Oh, sorry about the shadow. And then down here. Okay, so I've just moved the car down to make it easier to work on, reaching up into the engine bay. And what I'm doing is I'm putting the air line back on. So that's clipped in through all these big clips in here, goes up underneath the brake line. I had to take that off again into this bracket down in here, and then I will connect it up to here in a little bit. But before that, I've got to put another breather line on. I just got them muddled up actually on these clips up here. Basically, I had this fuel feeder line in these clips, but it's not that. It's that smaller breather line which goes in there, and this hangs free. So I'm going to change it over now. That's got that connected up. When I just took that bung off it, which I had in there, actually a whole bunch of fuel came out. So yeah, fair enough. But anyway, so I'm just looking at this here. I should probably replace this fuel line here because it's rock solid. I'll see if I can get that just as a small section rather than the entire thing. But you can see how complicated it's starting to get here, you know, and why you really need to make good videos and good photographs to document the project as you go, you know, as you start taking things apart, which I've obviously done. So what I'm doing with my other phone over there is just going back through those photographs, those videos, to make sure I'm getting all these pipes and lines in the right place. Okay, so I've just been up on my shelves over there, up there, and I've just pulled out some more lines here. So what I'm looking for now is the power steering lines to go on, but for the back section. So there are two sections to the power steering lines. There's this, there are two pipes here obviously, that goes through to the steering rack, which is where I cut that off before. And then these are the two lines which go onto the back of the car and over the engine. So this is basically the connection point there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean these up because they're pretty filthy, and then I'm going to get them onto the car. Okay, so I've got those rear power steering lines pretty clean, I think. I mean, obviously you can polish till your heart's content, but it's just not worth it. They're a lot better than they were before. And yeah, so I'm going to see if I can, first of all, I'm going to see if it's the right time to put them on, because obviously there's a whole bunch of water pipes to go on, and I have to check my footage to see if the water pipe's gone first or whether the power steering line's gone first. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so I just checked the footage on my other phone there, and the power steering line's gone before the water pipe line, water line. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to fit those rear power steering lines. Okay, so this is a bit fiddly, but I thought I'd just film putting it in. So I had to disconnect the fuel line there because actually I put these two fuel lines on and the power steering lines go behind those fuel lines. So it's a bit hit and miss. But anyway, I've put some WD-40 on these rubber fittings here because they don't slide that well when they're a bit dry. Yeah, just like that one, for example. Where's the WD-40? Here. There we go. It's that one, that one, that one. Put a bit in that one there too. Great. So, get that one in there. That one goes in there. Up in there. Probably can't see with me in the way, but that WD-40 really helps actually. Ah. Haha. So there's another problem I've just realised. Having put that brake line in, this power steering line goes behind that brake line. So start again. Okay, so I just popped that brake line out of these two fasteners here and managed to sort of bend that power steering line round there. I don't really like taking this brake line out all the time because you know, once it's in there, I want it to stay in there. But anyway, one more line to go and then I should be able to button that up. Okay, they are in. Some more brackets up there I've got to fit, but basically these important ones here, they are all in. And it really helps with putting some WD-40 on there because the rubber's really dry. It's not perished anyway, it's all fine still, but it's just really dry. So putting some penetrating fluid on there really helps just to click them in. And yeah, all fitted along there. So it's starting to come together. It's starting to look pretty neat. The only thing I've got to be careful of is I've left these rubber bungs out here so I can actually get some cavity wax in there. So that's still got to happen. All of the little bungs have got to go back in there, there. But I think there's probably enough space there to do it. So that is both of the power steering lines in the rear of the car. Okay, so I didn't really know whether I should video this or not, but you got to see the highs with the lows as well. So I was just, you know, looking at the paint on the underside here, and some of these areas which are really shiny. Let me turn the camera. I just ran my hand over them, and there were bubbles underneath the paint. So I don't know if you can really see it. It's all sort of cracked there. These are bubbles here. These are air bubbles underneath the top coat. So it looks like we've still got issues Yeah, listen, you can see the cracks. That paint is still not bonding to the sealant. So we've still got issues with the adhesion, which, as you can imagine, is incredibly frustrating. I just had to have a minute there because, you know, I've had so many issues with the coating of this car, and you know, we did it all once and then we took it down again, and you know, and then I thought we got it right this time because it looked really good, but then I've marked up underneath where I've found these air bubbles, and they're everywhere. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, where it's thinly laid on, then it's fine, but it seems to be where the sealant, where the body sealant or the seam sealant, I mean, it's here as well. There's an air bubble under there. So I don't know. I'm at a bit of a loss because, you know, it's so much work to do this and I've got such little time to do it. And it's cost me a lot of money as well. So, I don't know. This is really depressing. Okay, so I've just found a spot which had a bubble, and I sort of got the knife in there and just peeled away the paint, and actually this is all the seam sealant is completely wet under there still. It's just not dried out whatsoever. So his theory of going wet on wet, which is what he kept saying, I don't know, appears not to have worked. So I don't know. I don't know enough about paint. It was probably, my guess, just too cold. Just too cold to have painted it in September when we did. And yeah, I really don't know. I'm gonna have to get him round this week. Okay, I thought I'd just carry on, despite the depressing setback with the paint, with getting this little bracket on here. So actually I should have put it on before I put that brake line on, but it just takes a couple of, I don't know what size they are, but these rivets here. So I'm just gonna clip the brake line off there, put this underneath, and then get this fitted. Okay, there's also this bracket here which holds on the power steering lines at the front. So this is totally corroded, and what I'm gonna do is I'll see if I can make my own. Okay, so I've just formed that bracket there, and it seems to have turned out okay. Let me just find, there it is. This is the rubber that goes inside it, and it's got these little notches there which coincide with sort of two holes on the top. So if I just try and do it with one hand, hang on a sec, then yeah, I think I need to make those holes a little bit bigger, but that is essentially the bracket. So if that would focus, that would be fantastic. I'm just going to put some etch primer on there now and paint it black. Okay, so I've just painted that. A couple of coats of etch primer, now some gloss black. I would have used matte really, but I've only got gloss. So just letting that dry with the heater. I'll put another couple of coats on it yet. But I'm now going to clean up the aircon pipes and see if I can put them on the front. Okay guys, so I've just tidied up some of the air conditioning pipes as well. I don't want to have to buy new ones just because they've got a bit of corrosion on there, which they have obviously, but I've masked them up and cleaned them up and painted them. So that's pretty much it. As I said, with regards to the paint, bit of a blow today, but I'm going to get the guy around this week. From what I've seen, cross fingers, is that it's only bubbling on the back half here, or the back third. So we'll have to see. Hopefully I don't have to take too much off to remedy it. Hopefully it's not too much work to remedy it, but I just don't know at this stage. What I'm guessing is the seam sealant just didn't go off, or it didn't let it harden long enough before we put the top coat on, and the top coat is just bubbling and cracking. So always fun and games. But anyway, I think that's it for me today. I'm gonna leave it there, and yeah, look forward to the next one. See you later.